リリア、エレナ。体が少し熱く感じるかもしれないけど、僕が教えた通り呼吸を続けて。
綺麗。優しい光。
リリア。
アーサーが見せてくれたあの花みたい。
So when it comes to the beginning after the end, I want to do my best job to avoid talking about the webtoon versus the anime and the adaptation, how good it is, lack it's good of, really good, etc. But I think that this is one of the rare cases. I think episode 9, which we just got done watching, is one of those rare cases where I have to mention I feel forlorn. Big word. If I don't mention the fact that I think this episode was a bad adaptation of the webtoon. Now, for those not familiar with it, you know, hey, no problem, no foul. Let me know in the comments how you felt about this episode. Did you feel like it was stretched out? Did you feel like it was boring? Did you feel like they paid too close attention to this, you know, this seemingly side character? Because I think even if you don't have any familiarity with the story, like if I just say, if I remove my mental load and I say, hey, yeah, I don't have any familiarity with the story whatsoever, I can feel and I can tell that this episode was, you know, a little stretched, you know what I mean? A little stretched out a little bit. Now, the thing with that is I do have the knowledge. So I'll just say this. In the webtoon, this story with the focus on this girl, and Jesus Christ, I can't believe I forgot her name already. Eleanor? No, that's his sister. No, Lily is his sister, right? Anyways, so at the end of the episode, we have, I think it's Eleanor. Let me just make sure. I want to make sure I get the names right. Like I told you guys, if you guys been around the channel for a long time, I suck at names. Eleanor is the sister, so this one is Lilia, right? Okay, yeah, Lilia. Like I said, I suck at names. Forgive me for it. So we have Lilia, and the whole episode is dedicated to her and her journey to be a sorcerer, her inadequacy at not meeting up to her father's expectations, not meeting up to her own expectations, and the fact that she hasn't been able to unlock her mana that she should seemingly have. So at the end of the episode, which is, this is minute 19, Art finally decides that he's going to do something about this. He's going to help based on his theory. He's not 100%, but based on his theory, he's going to help Lilia unlock her mana. He also helps his sister, Eleanor, unlock her mana as well, too. And she's obviously going to be a crucial character in the show. She's his sister. You can just feel it. You know it. You can just tell the sister's going to be a crucial character. Lilia may or may not be. But for them to give her a whole episode, okay, this is episode number 9. And mind you, there's only 12 episodes. So 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 4 episodes, including this one that we get before the end of the season. To dedicate a whole episode to a character, you have to assume this is a big character. Well, the question is like, well, what if she's not? Then it means it kind of wasted your time. Now, talking about the adaptation in the webtoon, they do not spend this much time. And you guys can correct me in the comments for those who are familiar. Don't spoil anything, obviously, for anybody, but you can let me know if I'm right or wrong. But the simple thing is they don't spend this much time during this subsection. Art makes the decision to help Eleanor, or I'm sorry, he makes the decision to help Lilia. Their names. He makes a decision to help Lilia pretty quickly. And I felt like this was really like they stretched out like a chapter or like half a chapter or something like that. They stretched out a little bit of content and made it a whole lot of content. And for this show, that bothers me a bit. You know, I know I gave you guys some feedback during like the Sylvia stuff where I felt like they didn't do that one, that they didn't adapt that justice because they went too quickly. Well, now I'm on the opposite end with this one. I feel like they spent too much time here. So it's like a crucial character in Art's who makes Art who he is. They spent way too little time. and then a character who may or may not even be relevant to the major story, they spend way too much time. And normally I'd be like, okay, well, why did they do that? Well, they must have done that because there's not enough content there, that they may not want to bulldoze through the content, because then they might end up with a place to where they're almost caught up with the web novel or the manga or the light novel, whatever. And now there's not enough to adapt. Well, that's not the case with this one. Like we're still in the infancy really of this story here. And by episode 12, we'll still be considered in like the beginning stages of the beginning after the end. Like there's other stuff that happens where it's like, okay, there's more than enough content here. So I don't quite understand the necessity to dedicate a whole episode to this girl. Now, that's all I wanted to say on the adaptation stuff. I think the adaptation was bad. Let's talk about the episode then. So the episode, like I said, is focused on Lilia and her inadequacy of being a sorcerer, living up to her father's expectations, not living up to her own expectations. They go on like a date, and they take care of Art. They make him look better. You know, he was looking a little shabby. They get him some new clothes, some new haircut. I thought the haircut scene was pretty funny. I laughed at that. The hairdresser person was very energetic and very very there's a word for it. Flamboyant, I guess is the word. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but they're very out there. And I thought that moment was legitimately and funny. And then they had Art scream. I thought that was funny as well too. Then he finds out that in the square that they sell beast spheres, beast things that you can assimilate with yourself. And I was like, that's oddly convenient, because if the beast sphere thingy whatever is readily available, even at a high cost, you would assume that there'd be a lot more beast initiated people, but doesn't seem like that's the case. It seems like it's a rarity. So I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm put that on pause. And Lily ends up going, and she tries to go get a tiny one, and gets bullied by some random kids at the academy that she's supposed to go to, and parents come and save the day. And then Art decides that he's going to have Lilia fake that she's leaving to go train. And that just proves that her parents love her. And that's when, cue the next section. And I'm skipping over a ton of shit, right? But cue the next section, and Art unlocks the mana ability through his thesis with Lilia and then with his sister. And that's the episode. And then I guess at the end of the episode, you get like some random guy like, ooh, the auction house. Some basically just, showing us what's to come, which is some random guy who's apparently going to come to the auction house. And that's really it. So even if I remove my knowledge of the adaptation, right? Even if I remove my knowledge of like the web novel or the webtoon, whatever, it was a bad episode. It was boring. It was too stretched out. We spent too much on this character that I feel doesn't matter. Will she? Who knows? But it feels like she doesn't matter. And what did we really get out of it? Nothing. It didn't really, outside of Art, unlocking mana with his sister, which seems like a core character, and him redoing his outward appearance. The story really didn't move forward at all. It was very stagnant. This could have been like one day in the world. This was the first episode I have to legitimately say, even though I didn't like the Sylvia stuff, I didn't think it was bad per se. I just didn't like the way it was adapted. I think this was the first episode, like a 5 out of 10. Like, this was a bad episode, in my opinion. Now, I'm really anxious to hear your guys' opinion. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Let me know. Again, avoid spoilers. I'm trying to avoid any hints. There's really not much to spoil in the beginning stages of the story, but, just for sake, don't ruin anything for anybody in the comments. But let me know you guys' full thoughts if you're familiar. And if you're not, if you're just watching this as just anime only, which is how I watch 99% of all the anime I ever cover, let me know your guys' thoughts. How'd you feel about the episode? How'd you feel about this character? Did you like her? Did you hate her? What did you think about the storyline? What did you think about the beast crystals or whatever? Like, let me know what you think about all of it. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.